let's just double check. Make sure everything looks good. Make sure everything sounds good. Hopefully your Thursday is off to a good enough start. I know it's really hot outside. It looks like I'm on. Can I hear me? I sure can. All right, we're off to a good start. Off to a good start if we're inside. I'll put it that way. Like I said, a really warm day outside. Today is a first alert weather day, and that is based solely on the heat. We're seeing temperatures outside already in many spots in the 90s. Feels like temperatures this afternoon are going to be in the triple digits most of the day from here on out. But at 11 o'clock, a heat advisory went into play. That lasts all the way through 8 o'clock tonight. And anytime in between that span, we could see, again, heat index values running upwards of the triple digits. So stay cool, stay hydrated, limit that outdoor exposure if you can this afternoon, especially between the peak heating time, now to 8 o'clock, because it will be very, very warm. This can kind of sneak up on you. I know earlier in this week it was, similar temperatures, right, but a much different feel. That southerly breeze, that's all it takes to pull all the humidity in, and that is where we're sitting right now. Again, looks nice, doesn't seem like it would be a first alert weather day. Just looking at it, but when you walk outside, you'll know why. I mean, you'll feel it. 87 right now, feels like 97. It is just now noon. This is from the International Airport, and that west wind to 6, helping to pull all that humidity in. Remember those humidity values were back in the 40s a few days ago, now back up into the upper 60s and 70s. So temperatures across the tri-state already to 90 degrees. Hot spot in Middletown, 89 in Hamilton, 88 in Lebanon. That 88 in Lebanon feels like 108. Again, it's the humidity. It just is nasty outside. Remember, this time of the year, it's also a really bad spot to be in here in the Ohio Valley, much of the Midwest, because it is peak primetime mature corn season. That corn puts off a lot of moisture, and that's why that number in Lebanon and Batesville, they skew a little bit higher at those particular temperature sensors, the weather sensors there, because they're surrounded by agriculture. And if you're in a heavy agriculture area, right, especially corn, that's one of the big issues here around this area this time of year. When that corn gets to a mature height, it puts off a ton of extra moisture. It'll make it feel worse than it really is. Elsewhere, where there's not much agriculture, Lunkin feels like temperature on the verge of the triple digits. So Harrison up to 100, 102 in Middletown. It is very, very warm already. When we have a lot of daylight and a lot of heat to go here on this first alert weather day Thursday. 108, could be worse, could be out in Terre Haute. Again, a lot of corn out that way too. The only chance we're going to get today to see some cool downs will be via this slim shower chance we're going to see through the day today. Less than 20% of us are going to be able to see any of that, so don't count on much rainfall today to help cool you off. And really, it's only going to be some brief relief, kind of misleading kind of relief, because what's going to happen if you do see one of these showers, it'll push through. You're like, oh, good, it'll cool us off. It'll drop the temperatures briefly, maybe about 10 degrees, but it's going to add even more moisture to the air, and it's going to make, by the time the sun pops back out on one of these small showers, it's going to be even more miserable on the other side of it. So stay hydrated, hydrate if you're going to be out and about through the day today. Only a very slim chance we'll catch one of those showers or storms rolling on in. Now, high pressure, again, we're on the bad side of that high now. It's sliding east off to the west. Again, that southerly breeze is kicked back in, but high pressure is still close enough to us that we will not see much in the way of a rain chance today. But as high pressure continues to exit stage right there, off to the left, we have our next storm system. This frontal boundary out there to the west, it's been kind of stalled out the last couple of days. Slow mover, so enough that it's pretty much stationary. That'll turn into a cold front working away into this weekend and get closer to the area. And cooler air, as we mentioned before here on the stream, it cannot hold as much moisture as warmer air can. So when that cold air gets a little bit closer to us, it kind of puts pressure on the sponge, right? It starts to squeeze it a little bit, squeeze some of the moisture out, leading to better rain chances. But this time, the cold front isn't going to pass by completely. When that happens, a lot of times on the backside of the cold front, it'll take a lot of that humidity with it, right? Because that air can't hold the moisture. And that's what we saw earlier this week. It was really nice, really comfy outside, very little humidity Monday and Tuesday. It was still warm, but it was a manageable heat. This one's going to get close enough to us to give us a lot of rainfall chances, beginning as early as Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, and then we dry out into Monday, but the cold front does not pass us by, and that's going to be the problem because it's going to leave us with a lot of moisture sitting on the ground, and then the moisture in the air doesn't go anywhere either, and temperatures aren't going to cool off all that much. Our next coldest temperature here I have in the forecast for the next 8 days, not just the next 7, but the next 8 days, is 89 degrees. Normal for this time of the year, all of July is 86, and then things start to trend down into August. So again, just be prepared. Long stretch of heat, extended stretch, and very little chance there, just a slim chance here and there that we could see some cool downs via some rain showers and storms into the next couple of days into the weekend. So today, again, peak is now to about 8 o'clock in the heat department, low 90s outside, and the heat index value is 100 to 106. So very, very hot. Slim chance for a storm. More of us than not are going to stay dry outside. Tomorrow, similar temperatures, but the rain chances are a little bit higher, especially through the afternoon and evening. Now, some of the high-res models are pulling in storms as early as 3, 4, 5 o'clock. I mean, I have it written down today. Best chance for any storms today is going to be 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Very slim chance. Tomorrow, there's a slim chance we could see a downpour as early as the morning, about 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Very slim chance tomorrow morning. Better chances as early as 2 to 3. Let me hop out of this real quick and let's pull up that model I was looking at this morning showing an earlier run. So the global model, the one I've been showing you the last several days, has been keeping that rain chance at bay until about 10 to 11 o'clock up to the north. This is the high resolution model I was having a look at, and we'll see if anything's changed since this morning's run. Oh, I don't know what's going on with this mouse. Let's see here. All right, let's speed ahead. I think I just need to take it off this mouse pad. It's just gross. All right, let's see. So there's the very slim chance today, rolling back and forth here between about 5 to 8 o'clock. And you can see more of us than not going to be seeing any kind of cool downs with rain showers today. We calm down a bit, and then early tomorrow morning, you can see as early as 9 to 10 o'clock, we have a chance to see a few of those stray storms. So this is contradicting kind of what the global models, those lower resolution models that cover the entire globe, are saying. This one brings in some storms as early as the morning, mostly dry afternoon and evening. You can see we dry back out, and then late, around 6 to 7, we see storms firing back up. Red's first pitch, 7:10, so something to keep an eye on to see how that trends through the next 24 hours with forecasting. But again, it's not nearly as widespread as what the global model shows either late tomorrow night. So that's something to keep an eye on. Here's a completely different high-res model, and this one will run through this afternoon, 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Again, very slim chance for a few storms outside. Best chances around dinner time tonight. Things fizzle out, and then we start to see a few stray showers. It looks like some kind of a boundary there diving south early tomorrow morning. That's going to spark the morning chance for a few storms. You can see them firing up then around and east of downtown. Pretty sparse through the afternoon, and then bear with me because this is going to try to speed ahead really quick. And then you can see by tomorrow evening, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, again, not very widespread. So it's just interesting because they very much are very different than what the high-res model shows, and I'll show you that one in a second. Let's hop back into it. Again, tomorrow, chance for storms. We're going to keep it in there, but you could see them a little bit earlier in the afternoon. I think they're a little bit more spotty. That's what I have on the forecast. Between 2 to about 6 o'clock. Then things become to start to ramp up a little bit after 6 to 7 tomorrow. And then I think our best chances are still going to be in the later evening and then, of course, into the weekend. So here's your Friday forecast, 91 outside, well above normal. Feels like temperatures, again, if you missed the rain, in between rain showers all of these days. If you don't see the rain, feels like temperatures 100 to 106 degrees outside. So here's what I have for the Reds game. I do think most of us are dry. If you get really unlucky, yeah, we could have some issues out there for the Reds game. But the biggest thing is just going to be the heat before the game and, of course, while the game is going on. First pitch at 87. Feels like temperatures are still, if you dodge the rain there, going to be in the upper 90s. Mid to upper 90s for the 7th inning still, and then by the end of the game, I mean, at best probably feels like, just how soupy it's going to be outside, upper 80s, low 90s. So very warm Reds game and a very warm series overall. They have 3 in a row they're playing, and the first one with the Rays out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fireworks Friday, of course, you'll be there late. We'll keep an eye on the rain chances for tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, things are scattered. It's not a widespread rain and storm event. There's going to be dry time. So don't cancel any weekend plans. I know you're looking at this, you're like, oh, no, it's going to rain all weekend. There will be rain chances both days, don't get me wrong, but there will not be a washout. Much like last weekend, we even had some strong storms. We had a confirmed tornado last weekend, right? Slim chance for a severe storm, can't rule that out, but there will be dry time mixed in. So just be cautious, be flexible with some of those outdoor plans. Now, as promised, here is the high-res model I was telling you about. Kind of contradicts what the other ones were showing. Yeah, sorry about that, Jeff. Jeff was talking about how hot it is outside. This is the one time, earlier this week I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, I work inside. It would be nice to be out there enjoying some of the weather. This is a day like today is one of those days, and several winter days are days that I'm appreciative of being inside in the air conditioning or the heat. Here's what they show, this global weather model. Not much in the rain and storm category. It does have, it's hinting at 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Some of those storms popping up in the afternoon, pretty sparse, but this one brings in a more widespread threat late Friday night into early Saturday morning. So I'm rocking this back and forth between 6 o'clock and through about midnight or so. And you can see how that tries to bring more heavy rainfall, more widespread rain down late Friday evening, right around fireworks time for the Reds. So that's where they're a little bit different. The high-res models don't have any of that. And this one does still keep, it's been pretty steady with this too. Last couple of days, keeping that rain chance in there Friday night. Saturday, we dry out early, and then more scattered storms roll in through the afternoon. Note, no yellow is showing up on this. There will be some storms, but it doesn't look like we're going to see much in the way of widespread storm activity. That's good. Sunday, that chance increases a little bit as that cold front gets close to us. Again, kind of putting pressure on the sponge, but not wringing us out altogether, right? It's going to cool us off just enough on Sunday into the upper 80s that we lose some of that moisture via some rainfall. And then that cold front slides on off to the east, and we do not see any of the relief that you would typically see behind a cold front in terms of lower humidity or lower temperatures. By Monday, we're back to 92, as warm as we started. And we don't get any kind of benefits via the cold front for humidity relief. So 92, and it's going to feel like the triple digits again early next week, just to start the week. Tuesday, a stray chance for a storm early. I know that kind of buzzed by quick. Let me back this up for you. It does look like through the early overnight hours Tuesday, probably while you're sleeping, we could see some rainfall. Again, not cooling us down all that much. Some additional cloud cover Tuesday afternoon maybe keeps us in the low 90s, 90, 91. But again, still really warm outside, still very humid. But we do have that morning chance for storms. And then Wednesday's our next driest day, it looks like. And our next hottest day, again, back to 92 degrees. Some filtered sunshine, high thin clouds, not enough really to give you any good shade. And then some signs that things will change. So that was all the bad news. Here's maybe a little bit of good news, and then we'll get back to good news towards the end again. But late Thursday, late next week, there are some signs in the long-term models, the trends, that the pattern will start to shift a little bit. And of course, next Thursday, this day here you're seeing on the model, is the last day of July. So it's very timely that we go into August and maybe try to turn the page on the summer a little bit. Still a lot of summer to go. We've had 90s all the way until late October and November and everything. So, can't rule that out. But hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully we get some fall in there. But at least for now, things to start August look a little bit better. The first 7 days of this forecast, not ideal. It's going to be very hot, very humid, only slim chances for rain showers and storms outside to help cool us down. But by August, things will start to change a bit, it looks like. Another storm system will roll through, looks like Thursday into Friday, and that could bring us some relief as we head into August, which I'll show you in just a second, what the Weather Prediction Center has out. First alert, estimated rainfall, upwards of an inch in a few spots. Again, this is going to be one of those situations. It's not a widespread storm. It's hard to pin down totals for specific areas. So grain of salt, generally, most areas are going to see less than 1/4 of an inch of rain through the weekend. All right, not a heavy hitting storm system because these storms are going to be so scattered. So overall, by the time you see all the storms you might see or not see this weekend, up to about 1/4 inch for most. Some of us will see up to a 1/2 inch, and there's going to be a very few of us and that'll see an inch plus of rain, and that's primarily going to be around and north of downtown. You can see that's where more of the blue shaded area is, and then purple's well north of I-70. So that's where we're expecting more of that widespread rain Friday night, if that pans out. where we could see some more intense rainfall totals. But most of us, it's not going to be enough rainfall to make it worth your while into the weekend. Just really enough to be a pain for those weekend plans. Here's what I'm talking about as the cold front slides through. It does not give us any humidity relief. So this is where we were earlier this week. Again, down in the comfy range a few times there, Monday and Tuesday, early Wednesday. And then today we've flipped that switch. It's back to very humid, flirting with tropical for much of the rest of the forecast until late next week. That's where you can kind of see signs that things might change a little bit with that next storm system. But here's the heat index the next 7 days. This is not all day. This is at its worst over at the international airport. Some areas could be a little warmer than this, but you can see it's a solid pretty much 7 days, if you include today, 7 days of near 100-degree heat index values. Now, Thursday is kind of an anomaly. If I would change this and put Thursday on there and start it a day later, you'll see that it drops it. I still have our temperatures at 90 next Thursday, but there are signs that drier air is going to push in and help to cool us off after some rain. It pushes through late next week, and that's that change I'm kind of hinting at, and I'll show you in just a second. Heat risk, this is an experimental product from the National Weather Service, this map I'm showing you now. It's called Heat Risk Potential. And this takes into effect, it's a little different than heat index. Heat index is heat, humidity, right? And it kind of, it shows you what your body feels. Because when you have all the moisture in the air, you sweat a lot, but your sweat doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of sits on you or soaks into your clothing, right? Sweat, when it evaporates, it takes some of the heat from your body, and it allows you to cool down. When you have more moisture in the air, it becomes really hard for your sweat to work. That's why you just start swimming in it, right? And therefore, your body temperature, it'll feel warmer to you. That's what heat index is. That's kind of the fancy way of explaining it. Heat risk potential takes into effect the heat index, so that combined with how early in the season is it. In this case, we're well into summer now, so it's not early in the season at all. So it's not taking that really much into effect because we should be pretty warm this time of the year. But what it also includes is the overnight lows. How much relief do you get through the overnights? We talked about heat risk potential a lot with our first heat wave we saw back in June because that was early in the season. You hadn't been really accustomed to the heat just yet, acclimated, right? But note, we still have a lot of purple here the next couple days showing up. So today, heat risk potential, say tomorrow rather, it's kind of small there, it's in the banner, but this is for Friday. Heat risk, the worst of it is going to be off to our southeast into West Virginia, southern Ohio. We're going to weigh into Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You can see how this is expanding, right? It's a long string of this heat and humidity that does not go away, but combining that with how little we cool down through the overnight is what the heat risk map here is showing, and that's why it's extreme. Some people who don't have air conditioning, will not get a chance to cool down all that much working our way through the next 6 to 7 days, because overnight lows, I have them no cooler than about 73 degrees until about Wednesday of next week. And, you might say, well, that's pretty good. I mean, if you had a really hot house through the day, especially if you have multiple stories, let's say you're on the third floor, no air conditioning, I mean, it's a sauna, right? And 73 is not going to help to cool it down all that quickly before things start to ramp back up. The sun's back up and you do it all over again. So that all starts to build out there, and that's why this is going to be another dangerous stretch of heat ahead, if you don't have air conditioning in particular. That goes into Tuesday, and then Wednesday, here's how things start to change. We lose a lot of that because it does look like we will see some drier air, slightly drier air, and some slightly better rain chances towards the end of next week, which could help to cool us off at least a little bit. But here's the better news. Have a look at this. For the first time in what seems like a long time, days 8 to 14, so this goes beyond our 7-day forecast. I don't know why the numbers in August decided to be all over the screen. I just fixed that before I got on here. Must be keyframed. All right. The numbers down here at the bottom, tell you that that's the start of August, the first full week of August, so that runs past our 7-day. Look at that, blue shaded temperatures on the map, days 8 to 14. It does look like we catch some relief out there below normal temperatures. So normal again in August going to be about 85, 86 degrees. We should be below that high temperature wise and even the low temperature normal, working our way through the first week of August. So if you're looking for some relief, you're going to have to wait about a week. And it does look like things are looking more favorable. I'll put it that way, to see at least some slightly below normal temperatures, which, we'll take it. With that, it could come with additional rainfall, so beware what you ask for. The below normal temperatures could come with better rain chances, but at least for now, below normal, we'll take it in the temperature department for the first week of August. Let me throw the right 7-day up. I have somebody asking me, this is Betty asking, will there be rain today? Yes, there is a chance, but it's a very slim chance today. We'll see better chances for rain, it looks like, into tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Better chances for scattered storms the next 3 days. Today, mostly hot and humid. Just a scattering of storms outside this afternoon, really more so in the way of spotty. Slim rain chance today. Spotty storms tomorrow, better chances for rain into the weekend, and then we dry out a bit and warm up next week. So again, not much relief there. Coolest day being 89 for Sunday, rain-cooled 89. That's not going to do it for most of us. So Betty, yes, there will be rain today. It will be pretty spotty. Jeannie asking, when does Steve retire? His final day, I believe they've announced it, is the 28th of August. So he has about a month left until Steve enjoys retirement. And he'll be back in today again early, a little earlier than normal. He's filling in on the 3 and the 4. I got a lot of side project stuff I've been working on, and that will be announced probably soon. I don't even know if there's going to be an announcement for it. It's just a graphical change, so there's going to be some new looks to things coming up, and that happens on August the 1st. That's what it's scheduled for. If everything goes smoothly. So I've been really busy doing a lot of that. So that's why he's been doing a lot of these early afternoon shows for me the last couple of weeks. So let's see what else. Make the cold come here and stay. Yeah, well, I wish. Heat, it's whatever. I would take warmth. I don't know if I would take this, but I would take warmth over the winter, I think, most days. At least the really cold days of winter. If I don't have to wear a suit. Like if I'm outside in shorts, that's fine. But not maybe a suit in this kind of a heat. Let's see if we got any other comments coming in. Yeah, it's just going to be rough outside today, heat-wise. I mean, that's why today we went with a first alert weather day. Heat index values from now on, for the rest of the day until we hit about, I want to say about 8 to 9 o'clock for most spots are going to be in the triple digits. So just stay cool. Here's an hour by hour that I made earlier today. Hopefully it still works. We'll put this on. But yeah, this is the hour by hour of when it's, we're still in the low 90s even through 9 to 10 o'clock in the feels like department. So very, very warm day today. Stay cool, stay hydrated out there if you're going to be out and about. Oh, what else we got? Betty, it's going to rain on my birthday, the 27th of July. So your birthday is Sunday. Happy birthday, Betty. It could rain on Sunday. Not everybody's going to get wet. Let me hop back down here to the models for you. The weather models, not the other models. We'll hop in here and show you. Let's fast forward here. This is Saturday, and I know it looks really widespread on this. Again, this is not a high-resolution model. It's not going to pick out individual storms. It kind of gives you an idea of what's going to happen in the weather world. And this, to me, not showing much of the darker greens or even the yellows on the screen, indicate that we'll see some storms, but they're not going to be should not be that intense, and they're not going to be that widespread. Same for Sunday. Sunday, I think we see better chances as that cold front gets a little bit closer to us, but there will be dry time too, Betty. So much like last weekend, you'll have a long stretch of some dry weather, maybe the whole day if you're lucky. And then we'll catch some breaks in between before, those showers and storms roll in. It won't be an all-day thing and no washouts this weekend. But, I think we'll take at least some of the rainfall out there with just how hot it's going to be, hopefully to break up some of that heat, at least even if it's, just a little bit of time. So, yeah, happy birthday, and hopefully it's not too bad out there. Again, Sunday, dry time mixed in, not an all-day rain, much like just this past weekend. Then some more heat, and then hopefully, if we get lucky, towards the end of next week, cooler, drier air. I'm going to give you a little bonus forecast. This takes us all the way through. Again, this is a long ways out, so take this one with a grain of salt. But, Thursday, Friday, Saturday looks a little drier, and this should be some cooler, drier air. Again, this is the start of the below normal temperatures as we work our way into the first few days of August. So something to look forward to maybe next weekend. So last weekend of July, going to be a scorcher outside. And then hopefully the first week of August out there, we can catch some breaks in some of that heat because, it's not going to be Not going to be ideal. Sweatfest, I think is what I called it yesterday. Sweatfest day number 1. We are in it right now, and the main performers here are the heat index values and perspiration. Those are the 2 bands playing today. Let's see. Alan saying his birthday is also the 27th. Happy birthday, Alan, here on this Sunday, this coming Sunday, and a 45th wedding anniversary. 45 years. I won't say how long I've been alive, but it is not that long. Happy birthday to you, and happy anniversary. Not a mess. There will be some messy points this weekend, but it's not a complete washout. So just be aware of that. Don't cancel any of your plans. If you had anything going on outdoors for the anniversaries or the birthdays, have a backup just in case to hop inside. But it's going to be a scattering. It's not a widespread wet and stormy weather event. It's not going to be an all-day thing. And you could tell I didn't update this because I didn't work yesterday evening, so the Reds logo is still on Sunday. They are in town beginning Friday and running all the way through this forecast. They have the Rays, then early next week. So they have the Rays, Tampa Rays there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they have the Dodgers, I think, Monday to Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, does that sound right? Something like that. They have another series after that. So 3 series with the Reds in a row. Don't forget, we have a heat advisory in place through 8 o'clock tonight for the entire tri-state. Just going to be a really hot day. That's really most of it. We'll call it quits here today. We'll throw this up here for you full screen. Actually, why not? I am up on the social accounts here at last check on the Facebook, the Book of Faces, up to 19,000 and some change. I would like to, before August, I'd like to get up to 20,000 on this. Some of you are watching here on Facebook. And if you want to hop over and search for my page, if you're not watching it on mine, it is Meteorologist Brad Maushart. It's a very creative name. Meteorologist Brad Maushart there on Facebook. Hit me a like and a follow if you could. And then you'll not miss out on severe weather information. I had a lot of that going on this past weekend with the flooding threat and some other things happening outside. We have the tornado, obviously. So a lot of that gets posted to Facebook. You'll also see some other things like weather numbers of the day and all that kinds of good stuff. Anyway, so with that, give that a follow. I'd like to get that number up just a little bit higher, just for my own liking. There's really no point to it other than I would just like that. Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it moving forward. You can follow me there. I don't get on that a whole lot anymore. There are some posts I'll put on there. It's usually the same stuff as Facebook. And then Instagram is more personal-ish. You'll see me usually posting food wherever I eat, because that's what I like to do. Food, birds, bands, whatever I'm doing. FC Cincinnati, the Reds, Bengals. If I'm out at any of those games, you'll probably see me there. But that one's a little bit more, I guess, personal-ish. But not that personal. So that one's Call Me Brad. You can follow me on that stuff right there. Let's pull up the 7-day one more time for your liking here. And then we'll call it quits for today. It's just hot outside. That's a big thing the next 7 days. We have 7 days of near 90-degree heat or above every day, more so above, really, unless you get hit by one of these rain showers or storms. And then, I don't know where I was going with that. High humidity, too. Heat index values most of these days are going to be in the triple digits, unless you see that rainfall. Towards the end of the forecast, we could catch some breaks, especially into August, but that is more than a week away, so we'll hope for the best as we round out July, what has been a very warm July, and head into August. Enjoy your afternoons. Steve will be back at 3 and 4. I'll be behind the scenes, and we'll keep you up to date if any storms pop up this afternoon, but that should be more missed than hit. Just a hot day today. Stay inside if you can. Avoid some of that heat. Limit your exposure. And, of course, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.